back to On the Fly. This here recapping, predicting the World Junior Championship, U18 Women's World, the Men's World Championship, Women's World Championship, U18 Men's World Championship. What is happening?
It is by far one of the dumbest things I have ever seen.
Prepare to die. Figured it was better safe than sorry.
Scores! Nathan McKinnon scores for Canada.
Your home for international hockey. This is On the Fly.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome back to On the Fly, your home for international hockey. Today we have a good one. We're going to be watching Canada take on Italy. As well, we will see Hungary be taking on Finland. It should be a relatively untight type of game. I don't suspect it'll be all that close as far as the final score will end up going, but it should be a good one today as far as, it'll be an entertaining one for sure. We'll see which team can end up coming out on top today. For both these teams, for Canada and Finland, entering as pretty heavy favorites, and we'll see whether or not they are going to be able to take care of business today and get the job done there. A little bit earlier, there were quite a few games as well, as it was a bit of a mixed bag start to the day where we saw Slovakia and Norway come together. Slovakia ends up beating Norway by a score of 2-1. And you look at this game for the Slovaks, it was not well played by them at all. Kind of lucky to end up getting to where they were. They tried to pot the empty net at the end. It ended up getting called back for offside. And so as much as, yes, it's a 2-1 game, could have been very much a 3-1 game, could have been a 4-1 game as well, like we had predicted back in our prediction video. But you look at it for the Slovak team, a game that they're definitely going to want back. However, they do get the 3 points at the end of the day. For Norway, a bit of a lost opportunity there where they had every chance in the book, unfortunately for them. Just couldn't really find it when it mattered the most. Big difference maker in that game there. And then your other game between Austria and Great Britain, both teams had a pretty quick start to this game. We saw 5 goals in that first period. And then from there, a little bit more, Austria took back control, I would say, of that game. First period still, there was an early 3-0 lead for the Austrians, and so they were somewhat in control of that game. But ultimately, kind of towards the end is when we really saw them take flight as far as that goes. Italy are those new jerseys? I think those might be new Italian jerseys. Could be wrong, but look good. I think they might be new Italian jerseys. Oh, no, maybe not. They might be old ones. But welcome on in to coverage for today. If you are new here, please do smash the like button and hit subscribe. We are on the road now to 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And so we're hoping to be there by the end of this tournament. And who knows, maybe by the end of today could be pretty cool as well. Let me know who you are cheering for down in the chat as well. Fill out our poll of who you think is going to end up winning today's games, whether it be Canada or Italy for our marquee matchup of the day. We might also switch over to Finland and Hungary a little bit later if this Canada-Italy game ends up getting out of hand. You look at what both these teams need to do early on today. It's ultimately going to come down to how well for Italy can they play defense. For Canada, it's how well can they jump on the attack. Canada can get out to an early lead. They should be fine in this game. However, the longer a team like Italy hangs around, we saw this at the Olympics, the better chance they're going to end up having. Should be interesting today to see what ends up happening on that account. But we are just about underway here. They're showing the coaches, Jukka Jalonen for the Italians, Misha Donskov for Canada. And so we'll see today who's going to be up to the task. Is this a live stream? This will be a live stream. Yeah, we're trying to do more of these, so today is going to be our only one of the day. We talked a little bit about it in our day recap video yesterday. Unfortunately, my voice still kind of gone entering today, and so Hoping to have it back fully for what will be a very busy day tomorrow and on Monday. We're hoping to get almost all of the games maybe. We'll see how it ends up going. Your starting goaltenders today for Italy and Canada. Davide Fidani in net for the Italians. You have the veteran, Cam Talbot, in net for Canada. We'll see which one can come out on top today. For Fidani, I'd say it wasn't necessarily the best of Olympics for him. He kind of got overshadowed by his fellow compatriot. But at the same time, we'll see if he ends up getting starts through the rest of this tournament. Canada 8-1. Yeah, make sure to drop your score predictions as well down in the comments. Love to hear what you guys think. I think we had it at 7-1 maybe as the final score. The Canadians now will break in. Scheifele, with a great opportunity there, walks one-on-one with the goaltender, and a good start for the Canadian team here. Coming off of a big win yesterday against the Swedes, Canada's looking to win their second game of this tournament. Same with the Finns. The Finns now work in. Shot misses wide of the net. Finland and Hungary also underway now. We'll see which team walks out on top in this one. Some early pressure by the Finns leads to some pretty good scoring opportunities. Puck cleared out to center ice. That will go the length of the ice for icing. 19:20 left to go in the first period between Canada and Italy. Crosby back up to the point. Shot. Looking for a deflection. Can't find it through. Crosby back again with it now. Crosby back to Celebrini. Looking for Cousins. Celebrini picks up the puck. Cycles to the point. Point cycles over to Bouchard. Over to Crosby. Crosby down to Celebrini. Celebrini tries to saucer pass. It will come out of the zone. Bouchard unable to hold it at the line. Stretch pass now for Crosby. Tries to get it to Cousins but can't. And back up come the Italians. Shot on net. Turned away by Talbot. Bouchard will pick it up and collect it behind his own net. Tavares now works in, looking for the backdoor feed play. Fidani with a nice save there. Shot from the point, looking for a rebound. Tavares with it now. Tavares in the offensive end skates with it. Passes it up. Holloway throws on the brakes. Cycle it around. Down to Whitecloud. Over to Nurse. Nurse back to Whitecloud. Shot through a screen. Good save there by Fidani to keep the puck out. Tavares gets tied up behind the net. Over to Holloway. Holloway with it now. Passes up to the point to Whitecloud. Shot. Kicked away by Fidani. Holloway moves it down to O'Reilly. O'Reilly tries to cycle down to Holloway. Gets tied up, taken down. No penalty. Puck comes out to center ice. Tejachuk tries to feed it along. And the puck will be shelled out. That will be icing. Puck will come back into the Canadian end. If you are new here, please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube, so it would help a ton. So please, if you have not already, do hit that like and subscribe button so you do never, and notification bell so you never miss an upload. We'll be coming out with our day recap video a little bit later on tonight. As puck turned over in the Italian end. It's going to be close, like 4-2. It wouldn't surprise me, and especially with the way Italy plays. Like, it's for Italy, this game's either going to be an absolute blowout or they're going to make it really interesting. Teachuk up to Martone. Martone passes it across. In comes the Canadians again. Martone loses the puck. The Italians will work back up ice. Puck played up. That will go the length of the ice for icing. 16:31 now left to go in the period for Canada and Italy. Over in Finland and Hungary, still tied at zeros. The Finns have had quite a bit of offensive zone possession thus far, and so it's been a good start for the Finnish team so far. Finns work in. Barkov looking for the backdoor jam play. Will not find its way through Mountain on the backside there. Barkov again with it. Barkov dipsy-doodles in his own end, or in the opposing end, rather. Back. Oh, nice attempt there. Finns and Hungary still tied at 0, same as in Canada and Italy. A good start for the underdogs thus far. Scheifele tries to get up to Velarde, but can't. Puck will be dumped back into the Italian end. Scheifele first on it for Canada. Passes it around the boards. Thomas, though, loses the puck, and the Italians break it back up ice. And again, Canada with another icing forced, and will go back into the Italian end. Corpusalo makes his first stop of the game. You think about what you need to do if you're an underdog team. The longer you can keep the score at zeros, the better you're going to be in the end. Obviously, getting a chance or scoring a goal would help too, but the longer you can keep games close like this, the better it's going to be. This puck will be dumped back into the Canadian end. No icing called there. The Canadians will break it back up ice. The power line for Canada. Witherspoon sends it around to Crosby. Crosby tries to work it over to Celebrini. Can't. Puck comes flying right up in the air. Canada first on it again. Crosby back to the point. Over to Bouchard. Bouchard over to Cousins. Bouchard walks in. Bouchard waits. Looks for the pass play to Celebrini. Can't find him. A nice attempt there as the Italians will collect it behind their own net. Back up comes the Italians. And a weird play at the line that will be ruled offside, and a little bit of extracurriculars after the whistle there. Sterainen goes for the jam play. Can't find it through. Good stop there by the Hungarian goaltender. I don't expect any upsets today. It's going to be all blowouts. It wouldn't surprise me either. I think you especially look at kind of what's the general expectation for today. I'd have to agree, but you never know, right? And it's definitely part of the beauty of these tournaments is it's never really decided until that final whistle does end up going. So we'll see. Tavares walks in. Tavares holds on the puck, fires it around the boards. Down to Holloway. Holloway passes it up into the slot area. Tavares over to Whitecloud. To the point, shot from long distance, turned away by Fedani. Tavares works it to Whitecloud, who will hold on to it. Whitecloud gets the puck poked off him, and back come up the way the Italians. Shot saved by Talbot. Saracino with the opportunity there, coming back for Team Italy. After the turnover at the blue line, for those who don't know, the Italian head coach used to be the Finnish head coach for a number of years, well known for his Finnish trap style, which is more or less you make a mistake, it ends in the back of your net. And so kind of the author of that to kind of tactical shift in Finland. And one of the reasons why they've been so good for so many years has come from Jalonen's tactical brilliance for this team, and it's also transitioned throughout Europe. It's the same reason why we see teams like Italy do so well against teams like Canada. It's you play defense first, you take care of your own end, and then you come back the other way. Puck dumped down deep. The Italians will work back up ice now. Oh, and a nice play there. Goes to the back feed. Rebound chance. Can't find it through. Shot again. The Italians putting some more offensive pressure on this Canadian team now. Prime opportunity there to get themselves back on the board. Oh, and more sloppy play by the Canadians. Oh, that should be a penalty. No call coming. A prime opportunity there for the Italians. But Talbot up to the task. Just nearly was able to make it a 1-0 game. Shot over the net. Misses wide in Finland and Hungary. Finland and Hungary still tied at 0. 13 minutes left to play. Canada and Italy, 12:49 left in the first period. Decent scoring chance there for Luosterainen, who misses it over the face of Hungarian goaltender. Adam Vey in net for Hungary today. Walks one of almost near good opportunity there. Canada and Italy will head to a power break, so we'll head over to the other game. Hungary and Finland today. Both teams looking for a big win in a bad way. We'll see if they can get the job done today. Obviously, whenever you play these kind of games, it can be tough to show up for, especially for a team who is so favorited in this tournament. But we will see whether or not they're going to be able to get the job done today. Shot. Find a lot there with a prime opportunity, unable to capitalize on that attempt. As we're playing around with our lights right now to try and be able to see the other game a little bit easier. Made the same mistake yesterday. But if you're new here, please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube. We do post a variety of different IIHF content, including the World Juniors, men's under 18s, women's World Championships, women's under 18s, and of course the men's World Championships, and every 4 years the Olympic Games as well. We just wrapped up our Olympics coverage not so long ago, earlier this year, I guess. And so that was a great tournament to cover, a bit of a bittersweet end to kind of conclude it. But at the same time, part of the beauty of these tournaments is, you don't always win. And so for a team like Canada, we've had a pretty cold start so far this international year. We spent quite a bit of time on that in our Canada team preview for this tournament. It's been a disappointing year. They've lost. They haven't won gold. This is the first year in a while where they don't own a gold medal heading into a tournament for 2 weeks, I think is the rule. And so it is, we'll see if this is going to be the tournament that Canada can get it back, but it will be a tough sled to get there. Having to go through teams like the Finns, teams like Switzerland, it will be tough there. And take Italian player taken down, there will not be a call, but a good opportunity there. Canada now works on in. Nice pass over to Crosby. Broken up, and the Italians will work back up ice. Pass, tries to get to Bouchard. Bouchard now stretch pass. Hits Celebrini. Celebrini with it. Over to Cousins. Cousins throws on the brakes. Cousins throws on the brakes, throws it over to Crosby. Crosby up to the point to Bouchard. Bouchard cycles it across. Shot from the point. Blocked out front. Celebrini there. Crosby, and a nice move to keep it in at the line. Crosby over to Bouchard, but can't get it onto his stick, into his skates instead. Crosby again passes it up. Oh no, and an almost near opportunity there for the Canadians. Cousins loses the puck, and the puck will come back out to neutral ice. Celebrini taken down. Will not be a call. And up come the Italians. Oh, a nice move there. Keep the rush alive. Italy now works in. Gets stood up. Throws it out to the point. The Italians will keep it in. Oh, and a nice hit there by DeMello. Canada works back up 3-on-2. Passes it across to Holloway. Shot and scores. Nice move there by Holloway from Tavares' pass, picking it up with his hand, dropping it into his stick, and then depositing it into the back of the net. Canada leads 1-0 over Team Italy. And that is the kind of goal you need if you're Canada. Get those jitters out. Don't have to worry too much about potentially blowing this game against the Italians. But a good play there by Holloway. Catches it with his, maybe his body actually. Oh, with his pant leg is what ended up causing that. And a great play there to keep this, or put Canada in the lead today. They do lead 1-0 the score over Team Italy. A real good start there. Could very well have been a long game otherwise. Over in Hungary and Finland, both teams are tied 0-0. 9:10 left to go in the first period. Hungary now will look up ice, but taking the puck taken immediately away by Finland, and the Finns now will start to look up ice with rush chances available. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, but part of the fun of these tournaments is kind of learn, especially at the start, is learning all the players with their numbers, because you're used to seeing certain players from other tournaments, whether it be World Juniors or Olympics or whatever, with certain numbers. And so there's been a few cases of that already this tournament where you're looking at it and trying to figure out who the new players is. Darnell Nurse, puck in his skates right in front of his own net, nearly kicked it in there. Canada works back up ice. Curls, shot, Fidani, rebound, Minton scores. Fraser Minton makes it 2-0 for Canada. And they're back. Connor Brown and Fraser Minton with that opportunity. Maybe Minton looks like Connor Brown with the goal. We talked a little bit about Brown in our team preview for this Canadian team. The guy who seems to always turn it up whenever he represents Canada. So I have Brown with the chance, and then Minton does end up sliding it home on the backside. So it'll be Minton's goal, assisted by Brown. But a real good goal for the Canadian team as they now lead by 2 goals in this one. We might have to switch over to Hungary and Finland coverage before we know it. But as of right now, a good start for this Canadian team. Crosby to Celebrini's music to my ears, absolutely. I think Italy will put up more of a fight than Hungary. Time will tell. Hasn't been a terribly great start so far, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Walks in and called at the line. 9:30 left to go in this first period between Canada and Italy. Over in Finland and Hungary, face off in the Finnish end. 7:48 left to go in the first period between these two teams. The Finns coming off of a big win yesterday over Team Germany. Hungary, first game of the tournament for them. Started a little bit slow today, but we'll see if they can pick up their game as this game does end up going along. It's always tough to start your tournament against some of the better teams, and for Hungary, getting to play the Finns early on today, never an easy start for sure. As we were on a power break over in Canada and Italy, so we are taking a quick look over at Hungary and Finland as the Finns work it down into the attacking end. Lundell with it, slides it along. Battle for it down low. Finns come out with the puck, though. Slides it over to the point. Shot. Rebounds loose. Goaltender all over, scrambling the Hungarian crease. But it appears that Vey does have the rebound. Some good opportunities there for the Finns to try and get themselves on the board early in this game. Still tied at zeros in Finland and Hungary. Over in Canada, Italy, we have seen 2 goals for Canada so far. Fraser Minton, with one of them, is decided into the slot. Passes it back to Scheifele. Scheifele takes it, looking for the backside. Scheifele holds on to it. DeMello shot from the point, rebounds, but cleared away by the Italian team. DeLuca will shift it up for the Italians. Dump down deep. Canada. DeMello back to play it. Over to Riley. And up come the Canadians. Brown. Thomas. To Scheifele. Back down to Thomas. Pass it over to Velarde. Velarde with it now. Sends it up to the point. Cycles it over to Bouchard. Bouchard throws on the brakes. Waits for it. Slides it back over. Shot. Blocked out front, and it'll be cleared the length of the ice for icing. What do we got here? I'm surprised that Hungary are holding on longer than Italy. To be honest, the Hungarians are, and part of it too is that it's the Finns are more the issue, I think. The Canadians can play a full-out attack style, and I would agree with Italy. We talked about them a little bit in that preview. It's hard to tell how much of that was just kind of momentum-based, being on home ice as well at the Olympics, because they have a lot of the same team. You also add in the fact that Clara was absolutely unbeatable at that tournament, but I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see whether or not it has any carryover now. Celebrini now works in. Celebrini holds onto the puck, gives it off to Crosby. Crosby to the slot to Cousins, but got broken up before it got there. Celebrini back to Crosby. Back to Celebrini. Back to Crosby. Crosby takes it over the dot, throws it up to Wotherspoon, but the puck will come out and over the line. Puck will be in the skates there of Wotherspoon as the Italians now work back in. On a nice stretch pass there. Shot, looking for the tip in front. Talbot able to protect his net for now. Cousins will skate it out, flip it to neutral ice, and the Italians will collect it once again. Shots on goal through this point in the period, 8 shots in favor of Canada, 3 for the Italians. Puck taken away. On to Nuto. We'll dump it down deep for the Italian teams. So skate it upward now. Holloway sends it down to O'Reilly. O'Reilly passes it forward over to Tavares. Tavares slides it around to O'Reilly. O'Reilly with it. Passes up to the point. Whitecloud moves it over to his partner. Shot blocked out front. Darnell Nurse with that shot there. Bit of a scramble in front of the Canadian bench there. Canada will collect it in their own end. Whitecloud with the puck. Whitecloud moves it up. Connor Brown now with it. Brown passes it down to Minton. Over to Brown. Brown looking for the backdoor jam play. Can't fight it through. Back up to the point to Whitecloud. Shot. Looking for a tip in front from Mercer. But Fidani will be able to keep that puck and hold on to it for the whistle. 2-0 for Canada. 0-0 between Finland and Hungary. Be sure to let us know who you think are going to end up taking this game today. Got ourselves a good one so far between Italy and Canada. Canada in the lead so far in this game, which is good for Canada, especially considering their track record at these tournaments. But still, Minton lines up in the face-off dot for Canada. And he will lose the face-off draw as the Italian team will now shift up ice. Sends it down deep. Montager in for the Italians. But the puck will come back up ice. Connor Brown with it now. Brown with Mercer and Minton. Mercer throws it out to Brown looking for his one-time feed. A little bit too tight to make that play. Connor Brown over to Mercer. Mercer back to Brown along the half wall. Brown tries to feed across. Blocked. Back up top. Looking for a shot play there. But Minton unable to deflect it home. The puck will be cleared back out to neutral ice. Puck dump right back down into the Italian end, and back comes in Canada. Italy picks up the puck and will try and cycle it up. Your expected goals to this point are 1.66 for Canada, 0.31 for Italy. Talbot with a pretty good save earlier in this game on a bit of a scramble play. And the other one, the 2 goals against for Italy. I guess one a little bit less expected shot. Oh, good save there by Talbot. Nice blocker save up high. Canada now will collect it in their own end. Mark Scheifele with the puck. Scheifele skates it on in, tries to dump it down, but gets picked off by the Italian defender, and Italy will collect it behind their own net. Cycles it around. Throws on the brakes. A bit of a weird play there, but able to keep it away. Cousins over to Celebrini. Celebrini has Crosby streaking, but loses the puck, trying to stick handle. Celebrini over to Crosby. Shot. Misses wide of the net. Celebrini now with it. Dumps it off to his defense with Darnell Nurse. Martone with it now. Just tied up along behind the net. Nurse sends it up to Bouchard. Bushbomb misses wide of the net. Going for the rebound chance for Martone, but unable to find that rebound. Finns now work back in. Shot wide of the net. Exactly 4 minutes to play in the period as we head to a power break in Canada and Italy. Over in Finland and Hungary, we still got ourselves a tie game. The Hungarians playing very strong defensive hockey thus far. Able to limit a lot of the quality of the Finnish chances. Yes, they've gotten a fair number of them, but as far as quality goes, not exactly what they were hoping for. So, walks the line, kept in very, very narrowly. Kept in the line there. Puck will come out. Will be ruled offside. 1:37 left to go in this first period between Finland and Hungary as we will head to a power break over in that game as well. It has been a good start so far today. We got both games on power break. Finland and Hungary is turning out to be a bit more of a surprising game than originally anticipated. Canada and Italy, a little bit more of a expected result thus far, but still a lot of game still to be played. We'll see how much that changes as this day does end up going along here. But still, to this point, we have Canada in the lead, 2-0. Finland and Hungary tied at 0. So if you are new here, please do smash the like button and hit the subscribe. We are on the road here to 2,000 subscribers, and so it would be a great ton. If you could just smash that subscribe button and hit the like button, it does help out a ton. We are just about back underway as face-off draw is about to go down. Celebrini wins the face-off for Canada in the offensive end. Picks up the puck but ends up losing it. And it'll be cleared the length of the ice. This should go down for icing. 3:49 left to go in the first period. Goal scoring, I'd hoped would come more frequently during the first half of period 1 for Canada's adult men's team. Thankfully, at last it has. Yes, it really has. It has been good to see them kind of jump back into this game and into this tournament, really, especially coming off of a tough loss at the Olympics. You never really know what kind of version of this team will show up. I think we saw that partially with the U.S., where they didn't necessarily get their best turnout either, but it's good to see some of their top players over with Celebrini, Crosby. So that was good to see. But, I mean, obviously there's players trying to win their spots on the 2030 Olympic team now, which could very well be an opportunity. You think about guys like Porter Martone, Fraser Minton. Oh, and a shot there. Rebound chance for the Italians, who all of a sudden were able to find some chances in the zone there. But you think about kind of the opportunities there for those kind of players, and there's a lot of them, right? So we'll see. We'll see going forward. Kind of, Darnell Nurse with the move. Nurse comes in. Good stop there by Fidani. Martone with it now. Martone waits. Oh, and a great pass there to Celebrini, who roofs it for Canada's third goal. What a shot over Fidani's shoulder. A great play there by Macklin Celebrini. Canada now on top 3-0 as the floodgates begin to open. Oh, and a great move there. I think Hungary might go to a power. Oh, they didn't get a call. Looked like that could have been a slashing call. But there's a 2-on-1 emerging and then for Hungary, and then stick got slashed out of his hands. 5 seconds left to go in the period. They will shoot it onto the glass, and that will do it. Hungary and Finland heading to their first intermission here. A good start to this game for the Hungarians. For Finland, just haven't really been able to find that one big chance yet to put themselves over the edge. We are first intermission for Finland and Hungary, currently tied at 0s. Over between Canada and Italy, we just hit the 3-minute mark in this first period. A bit more of an expected result, I would say, with Canada really dominating this game thus far. Obviously, there's still lots of time to change. As an Oilers fan, Connor Brown was a gem to watch. He really was. He was a long-time Leaf as well. Pretty good player over there as well. So you get to see him do well. Holloway now works in. Holloway to O'Reilly, looking for him, but can't quite find it through to him. Holloway hands it off to O'Reilly. O'Reilly sends it over. Puck gets broken up, and the Italians will work back up ice. Given away, and Canada now works in with it. O'Reilly in his skates. Holloway takes it for Canada behind the Italian end, taken down. Passes back up to DeMello. DeMello shuffles it across. Shot from the point, turned away by Fidani. Tavares picks up the puck. Tavares tries to curl it around. Can't. Just dump it down deep instead, and they will go for a change to Italy. Collects the puck behind their own net. Was Zanata handed off to a weird play there at the line, but able to touch it in as the puck is dumped deep down into the Canadian end. Italy trying to open up their game a little bit more, trying to find some chances where they can, but it will be a long one for them today. Still look up ice. Penalty upcoming for a high stick. That'll go against Team Canada, and Italy will head to their first power play of this game, where we'll see if they can get on the board early here. As Minton, just with an errant stick, comes back up and hits the Italian player in the face. Ugly there. But they will now head to the power play. Italy will see if they can find an opportunity here. Sends it over. Passes it around. We enter the final minute of play. Freakland shot. Oh, and slides through the 5-hole. Prime opportunity there. As we're into the final minute of play here in this period. Puck will be cleared down by the Canadians. 40 seconds left to go in this first period. Reminder that we will be taking your live questions coming up at the break. We will have a little bit more of a break than what we did yesterday for our first stream, at least, where Canada and Sweden got delayed twice with 2 different reviews. One was a 5-minute major to be reviewed. The other one was the goal that was ruled a high stick. Both those were reviewed for quite an extensive period. Oh, and a great move there. Rebound chance for Italy. Rocks right into the crease. Where's the puck? Oh, and it's in the corner. Great opportunity there by the Italians. Goes for naught. And that will do it for the first period here. Canada still in the lead, 3-0 as we head into the first intermission. A reminder, we'll be answering your live questions coming up in the first intermission. So if you have questions, be sure to leave them in the chat and we will answer them there. But a good start so far for the Canadian team. They do lead 3-0 over in our other game of the day. Finland and Hungary currently tied at 0s. A reminder that earlier today we did end up seeing of course, 2 games already. We saw Slovakia knock off Norway by a score of 2-1. We also saw Austria go out and beat Great Britain by a score of, I believe it was 5-2, was the final there. And so that was both were pretty good games, pretty aligned with our predictions too. I think we had Slovakia winning 4-1, and Austria might have been 4-2. We always like to say that this tournament, in particular, is fairly predictable. Obviously, there's a lot of games, and you can kind of take guesses at what the final numbers are going to end up being, but been a pretty good start thus far. But be sure to get your questions in the chat. I know one of the questions that I always like to see is, well, how far off are certain players from coming over? Who might be that next player up? And it is a good question because, frankly, it's hard to say. You look at it for whichever team ends up coming in, like you do need at least a little bit of time to get adjusted to the time difference. And so for the NHL playoffs wise, obviously Anaheim was knocked out the other night, so you'll likely see Damian Clara coming over in short order for the Italian team. We'll see whether or not that changes as this tournament does end up going along, but it is interesting for sure. Vegas has taken home their series. Colorado's beating Minnesota. Minnesota, I'm not sure who they would send. I guess for Norway, you could see Zuccarello coming over, which would be a pretty good add if he does. Hard to say if he will, obviously, having to go through a playoff run already. I'm not sure if it's been officially announced that he won't be yet, because most players take a few days just to kind of get themselves back and settled. We'll see whether or not he ends up coming over. Then, of course, there's the Slavkovsky argument, which I know that one is a much more popular one, I would say. But you look at it, lots of opportunity. There's a lot of players that very well could, and I see let's see. I hope you're right. Slavkovsky will help Slovakia. Will be a huge support. Slavkovsky would be huge for Canada, or for Slovakia if he does end up coming over. You think about the impact he's had at just about every international tournament he's been a part of. He's been one of the main reasons why they've done as well as they have over the last few years at the Olympic Games in particular, where I don't want to say single-handedly won them a bronze medal, but he had a huge part to that year, taking in his draft year as well, one of the main reasons why he ended up as high as he did. His performance there, and you're going to see a lot from players like Ivar Stenberg and Viggo Bjork at this tournament, that they're trying to earn a lot of draft stock. We'll see whether or not that's going to be the case this year. It should be interesting and keep a closer eye on. I'm excited to see for sure kind of what ends up going on here, but you think there's a lot of different opportunities here for Slovakia, for teams like Norway to get reinforcements, teams kind of up and down the tournament. And obviously you look to teams like Canada, you look at teams like Sweden, Finland, US, Czechia, kind of those more common teams who get a lot of reinforcements around this time. But there's also a lot of other teams, and the Swiss too, I'll add, but there's also a lot of other teams that kind of fly under the radar that have a lot of really good players that are sneaking around kind of third, fourth line minutes in the NHL that when you put them on an international squad and you need them to score, all of a sudden it becomes a little bit more tricky. So for really all these teams, we wait for the results of those NHL playoffs and see who ends up coming over. It always interests me to see that, especially with this tournament where it's unique in the sense that it's pretty much smack dab in the middle of the season. And obviously that's with most places, but you tend to start adding players too, which is a bit of that unique factor, I think, more than anything else, because it's so spread out where you don't really think about it. Tavares is way underrated and should be the captain. More experienced leadership, though Matthews is a force. A mistake it was. You look back on that and kind of wonder, right? Tavares, the captain for a few years, I'm not sure how long it would have been, but they're showing the highlights of the British and Austrian game earlier today. Reminder that Great Britain needing one real win at this tournament. All they have to do is go out and beat Hungary, and they'll be just fine at this tournament. So we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. Be a big opportunity for them for sure to see if they can pull off that win. If they can pull off a win, they'll likely avoid the relegation at this year's tournament, avoid being the elevator team, as we like to call them, coming up to the top division and then going right back down, kind of like you do on an elevator. You go up, you don't go down. And so we'll see whether or not that ends up happening here. Should be something to monitor, especially for the British team. You're thinking relegation. Slovenia and Italy as well are right up there as well. So hope one can debate whether Tavares should have been stripped of the Leafs captaincy. That said, one can debate whether Tavares should have been stripped of the Leafs captaincy. That said, after a near scoreless first half of the period one, that Canada team got going. They really did, and it's always interesting to see, especially at these tournaments. I really did enjoy the fact that Celebrini did end up keeping the captaincy. I thought that was pretty good. That was cool to see how they did that, just kind of letting the next generation take over, especially at this kind of tournament where it is so. What's the word I'm looking for? At this tournament where it is so kind of unique for Canada's perspective, where you don't have always your best roster. And so you get a little bit of that captaincy experience. Obviously, Celebrini, I wouldn't say he's next in line. I'd say McDavid and McKinnon are likely next in line for that captain role, but very deserving as well. He'll be captain in short order as well. So we'll see, obviously, for the Canadian team, how they do at this tournament. It always has something to do with when you do get that first captaincy role, how you end up doing with it. If he can do well with it, I have no doubts, and it appears he has thus far in the tournament. But we'll see, obviously, if that will continue going forward here. Should be definitely something to keep an eye on and monitor through the rest of this. Who do I think will win the Stanley Cup this year? It's a good question. I would assume it would be the Avs are kind of that favorite. The Avalanche are that favorite team. There's the potential for Carolina. The Habs and Buffalo have just been slugging it out with each other. I don't know how well they're going to be able to kind of bounce back. I think you especially consider the fact both those teams have been through pretty grueling series. They haven't exactly been pleasant with each other, whether it be Montreal and Tampa, whether it be Boston and Buffalo, or whether it be Montreal and Buffalo. There's definitely a toll been taken so far this playoff run. And so for a team like Carolina, who's just been kind of sitting, waiting, getting healthy, it could be a difficult track forward for them. But I'm not sure that's all that surprising either. Let's see here. Canada looks dominant, but when it goes to the defensive zone, they look confused even against the Italians. I mean, you also don't really expect to be playing much in your own end for this game. It's kind of a well-established thing that when you're playing against a weaker team, you're going to spend most of the time in the attacking end. And so I wouldn't say that it's all that surprising per se. The one surprising thing I would say is that you look at the shot totals, 13-7 for Canada in that period. The Italians had some chances in this game. Were they great? There were a few good chances, I'd say, but Talbot very much up to the task early on today, which you do need to see from your goaltender, especially when you play against a weaker team. You can't have weak goals getting in, allow those teams to kind of generate some momentum. But a good start for the Canadians today as they, of course, pulled off the first 3 goals of this game. We'll see if they can hold on now. Likely going to be able to pot some more, especially as this game gets extended and the Italians start to get dragged out a little bit more. The interesting games for me so far, and the one that I'd say is the more surprising one, is Finland and Hungary. We knew that this game would be relatively close. You look at these two teams, very defensively oriented. In our prediction video, I believe we took Finland to win 4-0. It was a kind of a tighter margin type of game, but at the same time, you don't really know what to expect from these teams. I think we had Canada over Italy 7-1 was our final prediction in that. This could be quite a bit more. Canada looks dumb. That one. Avs or Carolina. I hope no chance for the Avs. And that's the other thing is like, it's the one issue with when this tournament is held. Like if this tournament was held later on, it'd be cool because you'd have a lot of the players kind of having and been on a break, but at the same time, they wouldn't be necessarily as conditioned. And so it's the age-old argument of when do you put this, like at what point in the year do you put this tournament so that viewership can be at a high, obviously with the NHL, with the hockey season coming into full gear, but also more importantly, having players being able to play at their best and come over for these tournaments. And so that's kind of that age-old question. Of course, we just saw over on the women's side, they moved it to November for the future, where they will continue to do that with the PWHL introduction. So we'll see whether or not that's going to end up being the case there, but it will be interesting to kind of monitor as these goes along. As a Leafs fan, if the Stanley Cup Finals between Montreal and Vegas, yeah, that'd be tough. I'm kind of in the same boat, but I would say for the you'd obviously prefer not having to worry about it. If you are new here, please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you are notified when we go live. Fill out our poll who you think is going to win between Italy and Canada. Italy or Canada currently in the lead right now by a score of 3-0. They are also leading in the poll by 89% to 11% with 87 votes in. We'll see if that changes at all as this game goes along. We'll also, most likely if this game ends up getting out of hand, switch our coverage over for Finland and Hungary. So stay tuned on that account where we'll see what ends up happening here. But Finland and Hungary are back underway for second period action, where we'll see whether or not they can find the answer. 0 goals through the first period of action. Bit of that defensive slug as we were kind of expecting from these two teams, very defensively minded. We'll see if that opens up a little bit in this period. As the Finns work it in. Shot scores! Finland makes it 1-0. Tip play in front. And that will be Heinola with the goal. Finland now up 1 early on in this second period. A good start for the Finns. Get the pucks to the net, what you really needed to see so far in this one. But it will be 1-0 the score for Team Finland. Wow, Finland versus Hungary 0-0. Wow, didn't expect that. Well, you jinxed that one. I think it hit off his own guy. The Hungarian player, I believe, tipped that one. Is the reason why I'd end up going there. We will be right back after this short break. And we are back before the puck was even dropped. As the Finns work it back in their own end. Finland with the goal finds themselves up a goal. We'll see if they're going to be able to continue to find some success through the rest of this period. Typically, after you see the first one go in, a lot more follow. Heinola from Vaakanainen and Puljujärvi, the goal scorers and assistees on that last Finnish goal. So Hungary now will work back up ice. Bit of an interesting team composition here from the Hungarians. Pustola passes it up. Dumps it down deep. Lettinen will. Ferries it around the boards. Hungary now will shift up ice. But taken away, Manpalo. Dumped it down deep for the Finns. Out to play it as Vey. And taken down and neutral ice is the Hungarian player, but there will not be a call. For Hungary, you're just trying to keep this game as tight as possible for as long as possible. The longer you can hold on in this game, the better. A 2-on-1 emerging. Shot. Kicked away by Korpisalo. Comes back loose. Rebound chance. Oh, and an even better save by Korpisalo there to deny the Hungarian forward on the rebound chance. Prime opportunity there. As the Hungarians working in nearly were able to get on the board here and tie this 1-1. Korpisalo, though, a great stop, a great 2 saves there to keep this one in the Finnish favor. Hungary now will work up. On a nice move there, taken down. A little bit of interference, no call. Hungary now looks up ice. Dumps it down deep. We ruled no icing there. Late call. The Finns will work it back up ice. As Canada and Italy about to get back underway here. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Shot and scores. Alexander Barkov, or Puljujärvi with the goal there. Puljujärvi with the goal. A bit of a tip play there in front. And the Finns will go up 2-0. And the floodgates beginning to open a little bit here for the Finns. Vey unable to control the rebound there. Barkov slides it on the rebound chance, and Puljujärvi deposits into the empty net, or the back of the net. Brown's shot misses over the net, and it will go out of play. Canada and Italy back underway here. Canada 3, Italy 0 over in Finland and Hungary. Finland 2, Hungary 0. Second period action for both. Puljujärvi works back up ice for the Finns. Maninen, Barkov, and Puljujärvi. Kind of that Finnish top line. I like the composition. You also have the Florida players playing together as well, which is good to see. Thomas, a nice stretch pass across, but broken up by the Italians. Is it just me, or does the U.S. roster seem a bit weak this tournament? It is very weak this tournament. Nice move there by Scheifele. Scheifele sent it down to Thomas. Passes back up. A save there by Fidani. Good one at that. Passes it over. That will go the length of the ice for icing. But yes, the U.S. roster is extremely weak this year, especially compared to normal. They had a lot of players not end up going. Part of it's to do with the Olympic year, and so you don't get your top talent. NHL playoffs as well. Some of your best players were stuck in that. And so you lose out on some guys who are just too tired after the season. But ultimately, it is definitely a disappointing roster coming in, especially after winning the Worlds last year. You'd think that there'd be a little bit better carryover, but not to this point. Shot a lot of deflections in front in Hungary and Finland. Finns with the prime opportunity there to get their third of the game. Shot from the point, goes wide of the net. Passes over to Cousins. Cousins takes the puck. Cousins cycles it down low. Shot, scores. Celebrini, I believe, with the tip on that one. And Canada makes it 4-0. Canada in ugly. Ugly. 4-0 there for the Canadian team. Oh, and it was a backhand play. That wasn't even a tip. Wow, what a play. Great shot there. Expected goals over in Finland and Hungary, 1.56 for Finland. So they are averaging 0.44 above goals expected, and I think it was 0.36 for Hungary there. This tournament is chaotic, though. You don't have to look far in to see the past. The weak teams get deep runs. It's part of the joy of IIHF tournaments is kind of a whole. Where is that guy wearing a Finnish hat and a Hungarian jersey? That's interesting. Crosby shifts it up to Celebrini. Celebrini now throws on the brakes. Celebrini looking cross ice. Can't find it. Wotherspoon sends on to Cousins, who gets tied up. Cousins takes the puck, moves it around. Puck will be flung out. Crosby with it. Crosby a nice move there by Crosby. Crosby tries to send it over but can't find Cousins on the other side. Cousins takes it now, tripped up. Crosby looking for O'Reilly but can't find it. Matejchuk takes the puck, fires it around the boards. Moves it over to Holloway. Holloway up to the point. Shot. Turned away by Fidani. Italy now will work back up ice. 4-0 the score. 16:20 left to go in the second period. Over in Finland and Hungary. Finland does lead 2-0 with 13:20 left to go in that second period. Fidani is wearing Swiss cheese pads, blocker, and glove. It is tough when you're just getting absolute onslaughted by the Canadian team. A lot of people after the Olympics had Italy a lot higher just because of the way they ended up playing. But I think most people kind of knew that you don't want to call it a fluke because a fluke doesn't do it justice. And Hungary gets on the board. It's a 2-1 game now. As the Hungarians have got on the board here for the first time at this tournament. Balázs Szabók scores for Hungary, and all of a sudden this game gets a little bit more exciting. Oh, and a great play there. Tic-tac-toe. Tereboks over to Horvath. Over to Szabók on the backside. It is now a 2-1 game as Hungary will find themselves on the board here. And this game gets a little bit more exciting. We will likely be shifting after the third period our coverage over to Hungary and Finland for their third period if this game does remain close. It will actually be a penalty. No call. Finland comes back the other way. Shot. Good save there by they. Brown cycles in, tries to hit the mellow. Italy now will work back up ice. Dumps it down deep. Connor Brown back to get it for the Canadian team. Nurse fires it down low. Oh, and a big hit there by the Hungarians, but works back up 2-on-1 for Finland. Shot, saved by Vey. Good one there as well. As the Italian power play has been done for quite a while. 14:30 left to go in the second period for Canada and Italy. The Finland and Hungary game over on a power break right now. Nurse collects it back for the Canadians. Velarde walks in with it. Oh, nice pass there to Thomas. Shot. Misses wide of the net. Prime opportunity there. She was slot bound. Moves it over to Wotherspoon now. Wotherspoon works in with it. Wotherspoon throws on the brakes. Wotherspoon sends it over to Bouchard. Bouchard, nice pass, trying to hit Cousins on the backside. Wotherspoon sends it over, back up. Wotherspoon passes it down. Sends it over to Crosby. Crosby up to Wotherspoon. Wotherspoon will fire it back around. Canadians working on the forecheck. But ends up losing the puck. The Italians now will work back up ice. The Italians now trying to find their opportunity of this game. Puck ends up coming back the other way. Celebrini stretch pass over to Crosby as he enters the line. Oh, and a backdoor play to Celebrini, but turned away by Fedani. Play goes way long. Tavares ties up with DeLuca. Canada now works in the offensive zone. Puck will be whistled down for offside. Power break over in Canada and Italy. Over in the other game, Hungary and Finland, 11:38 left to go in the second period. Finland in the lead 2-1. Hungary with the last goal. See if there's any momentum generated from that. Interesting stuff happening. Celebrini. The question is, can Italy get a goal back against Canada? I think they will be able to. I think in our prediction we had them 7-1 final. They'll get one. Like they've generated quite a few good opportunities so far in this game. That hasn't been the issue. The issue is that unfortunately they are just going up against a better team who has actually scored on their chances. So it's always tough, right? Whenever you're playing against a better team. But by the way, I just heard in an interview that Goliath will play today. That's actually very surprising. He might just want the game. Goalies are weird, right? That's kind of a common thing. So some goalies like having extra workload, some don't. And so if he's the goalie that likes having it, I know, think back to the Olympics, Feldbergs from Latvia wanted the extra workload. It was a big thing for him. Same with Carter George for Canada. There's a few players that want the extra workload because it makes them better when they actually get into those important games. High stick penalty upcoming to the Italians. Canada will go to a power play. Tavares holds on to it. Wheel it around the net. But some goalies like the extra workload. And so if that's Gudlevskis, because most Latvian goaltenders know coming to this tournament they're going to get a lot of workload. That could be the reason why. And so I wouldn't worry too much about that factor. Because realistically, they're not going to go out and beat Latvia or Switzerland today. I don't suspect that'll be the case. But still, it is surprising. Perdella will head to the box for high sticking. Canada will head to the power play. Shot saved by Vey. 9:28 left to go. Hungary and Finland. Hungary playing a very good game thus far, doing exactly what they need to have a chance in this game. Canada will head to the power play. If you are new here, please do smash the like button and hit the subscribe button as well. We are on the road here to 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And so please, if you have not already, do smash that subscribe button. It helps out the channel a ton. We do a wide range of IIHF content, including the World Juniors, men's under 18s, women's under 18s, women's worlds, and the men's world championship tournaments, as well as the lower division tournaments through our podcast as well. So lots of content coming out over the summer, so stay tuned there. Bouchard works up to point Canada on the power play. Down to Crosby. Crosby cycles with it, moves it over, tries to find Scheifele on the backside. He's not available. Scheifele, cross seam pass over to Crosby. Crosby over to Velarde. Crosby down low. Celebrini back up to Crosby. Cross crease over to Scheifele, looking for backdoor feed to Celebrini. Can't bury it through though. Velarde taken down in the corner. Scheifele with the puck. Scheifele goes cross side looking for Crosby on the backside. Can't find it. Bouchard keeps it in. Celebrini works in looking for Velarde there for the one-timer. Scheifele on Velarde moves it up. Looking for Celebrini. Looking for Crosby on that attempt. Scheifele. And looks for the cross seam feed over Celebrini as well. Canadian power play working extremely quick here. Lundell, shot misses over in Finland's game. 40 seconds left to go on the Canadian power play. It's looked good thus far. Shot, misses wide. Velarde passes it over to Crosby. Crosby up to Celebrini. Bouchard bomb gets blocked up top. The puck will come out, and Canada will need to retreat. Shot, saved by Fidani again. Puck comes out. Celebrini now cycles it over. Bouchard shot, saved by Fidani. 7 seconds left to go now on the Canadian power play. 10:20 left to go in the second period. The 2026 Men's World 2026 hockey team has yet to, in that tournament, score a power play goal. Maybe this game will change that. Did they not score a power play goal against Sweden? I thought they scored a power play goal against the Swedes. Could be wrong on that, but did they not score a power play goal against the Swedes? Or is it one of those where it's like dangerous minute? Oh, right, because they scored before they went to the power play because they had the extra attacker out. Oh, yes, I guess so. The power play hasn't looked terrible, though, I'll be honest. Like, typically we see Canadian power plays just look absolutely atrocious, but it hasn't looked too bad. Power play's expired here for Canada. Riley cycles it over. Shot. Good stop there by Fidani. Connor Brown cycling through the crease. Minton with a nice hit. The Italians now will work back up ice. Canada leads 4-0 Finland. 2-1. Finland leads over Hungary. Canada leads over Italy. Finland-Hungary will be whistled down 4 offside. Shot. The Italians work back in. Shots on goal for the second period, 9-0 in favor of Canada. Much more dominant type of period in this one than what happened in the first, where it was a little bit more even as far as the shot totals go, but still, it was still a pretty dominant period from the Canadian team. Passes out front, shot, hits off the crossbar. Velarde gets his second opportunity, tries to jam away at it, but Fidani will be able to hold on. 8:48 left to go in the second period. Fidani with another huge stop to keep this game within range. Still starting to shape out to be a little bit more doubtful that they get to that point, but we will see as this one continues to plug away today. The Finns work back in. Cycles it over. And Hungary will dump the puck down deep. Been very impressed so far with the Hungarians thus far. As far as shots on goal for the second period, still heavily in favor of the Finns, 12-4 your shots, but for a total of 20-9. But you look at it, a much more even frame to this point for Hungary being on the board as well. It always does help, although they do trail on the scoreboard. They're at least closer than being down by 2 goals. Some good bounce back performance from them. They're a very wild cardish team too, where they play very well and very structured defensively. They got good goaltending. They do a lot of the small things right. Scheifele over to Nurse. So they can be a real good team at this tournament if they find some scoring, if they find some talent on the offensive side. Like, there's a potential there, but probably not expected to do a whole lot, especially early on. So Canadians now work back up. Thomas can't find the puck though. Shot. This is wide, and net blocked up top. Finland leading 2-1 in this game. 5:30 as we head to a power break over there. White Cloud comes back for Canada to collect it. Can throw to Nurse. Moves it up to Scheifele. Oh, and the puck poked off, and that will be an Italian power play as well, as White Cloud comes back and takes out the Italian forward who is about to go on a break. There, Italy will head to the power play when we do return. What do we have here? Let's see. We don't want to see Greaves in net again. I'll be honest, I didn't like Greaves' game all that much. I don't know what he's like in Columbus. I can't say I've watched a lot of Columbus games this year. I've seen a few of them, and he looked a lot better than what he did yesterday. But I will say that you need a guy to be a lot better than what he was yesterday, especially when you go into a team against, say, the U.S. or Switzerland or Finland, or most notably Finland and Switzerland, where they're going to have very high-octane offenses. And yes, the Swedes have a good offensive team too, but if you give up a lot of chances, you give up a lot of rebounds, all of a sudden Canada could be in a real world of hurt if they can't rely upon their goaltending at this tournament. So I'm hoping to see either that get resolved, because Greaves is still a good goaltender. He should be the starter for this team, but you have to be careful for sure. 2-minute minor for tripping to Zach Whitecloud. A nice stop there by Vey over in Finland and Hungary, as more chances there. Italy will try and get themselves on the board in this one. We'll see whether or not they can get the job done here. Frickland lines up against Ryan O'Reilly. Frickland wins the face-off draws. Nettie back up to the point. Cycles it over. Very high power play right now, struggling to get very deep into the offensive zone. They finally get it dumped down deep. Frickland works back to the point. Shot from the point. Looking for a rebound. Comes loose. But Talbot able to make the rebound stop. Puck played up. Shot by Sigafredo. Saved by Talbot. 7:34 left to go. The Finns putting some very heavy offensive pressure on now. Shot. Kicks off the post. Walks on in. Shot again. Scores! Finland gets their third of the game after a very extended offensive zone possession. Janne Kokkonen for the Finns makes it 3-1 as they get into that kind of more ugly range once again. A much-needed goal for the Finns after kind of earning a lot of that zone time. Unfortunately for Hungary, just weren't able to get that last big save. A lot of traffic in front, screen shot. Erholtz with providing the screen, but Kuokkanen with a great snipe gets it by Vey, and that will make it 3-1. One minute to go in the Italian power play as the puck is cleared right back into the Italian end. Puck will be rimmed around. This puck will be out of play over in Canada and Italy. 3:30 left to go in Finland and Hungary. Hungary looking for a response here. Let's see if they can get it done. Slides it over. Passes it back. Shot. Turned away by Korpisalo. The Finns have started relatively slow today, but have picked it up as this game has gone along. They're calling a penalty on that? No. Puck will be played up and out for the clear. "15 seconds left to go on the Italian power play. One last chance, but it'll be cleared away and ruled offside. Italians, not a whole lot of good looks there on that power play. Most of the NHL's league goals are coming out of Russia and the U.S. Canada needs to step up in the goaltending. They really do need to step it up in the goaltending department. It's been a struggle for them over the last few years. Binnington's been okay. Binnington's been a big reason why they've done as well as they have at a lot of these tournaments, but still, you'd like the prime Holtbys, you'd like the prime Prices, the Brodeurs. You'd want that kind of go-to star goaltender that really kind of steals the show every time he gets in there. Patrick Waugh, right? You need a goaltender that you can go to in those big games, and I just don't think Canada has that right now. You have Binnington, obviously, he's been good for Canada over the years, but you still want that go-to guy. Crosby takes it. Power play is now finished as they work back in. The Finns with more offensive zone possession. 3-on-2 emerging here for the Italians. Tries to fire it across to Bradley. Bradley with it now. Keep it down deep to DeLuca. Cycles back along for Dello. Shot, whiffs on it. Canada comes back up ice. Celebrini now. Celebrini tries to slide it down to Martone. Martone will feed it across to Crosby. Crosby takes it over to Martone. Martone moves up to the point. Gives it over to Matejchuk. And Fedani comes across and knocks the net off there. Martone with a good opportunity, but Fedani able to slide across and knock the post off before it goes in. Back in 9 slides it across to Manapalo's shot. Good save there by Vey. If you are new here, please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Getting ever so much closer. We are now just 56 subscribers away from 2,000. So please, if you have not already, do smash that subscribe button. Robert Thomas with the face-off win. Slides it over. Matejchuk over to Thomas. Thomas moves it up. Tries to get to Scheifele. Again, skates. Matejchuk tries to slide up front, and we cleared the length of the ice. They're going to call that icing. Ice stick, glove pass, something. Minute to go now in the period between Hungary and Finland. Shots saved there by Vey. Ehrholz with a prime opportunity. "20 seconds left to go in the second period. We'll see if the Hungarians can come back. Searching for 2 goals. So the Finns working in the offensive zone. Tries to feed it out front. 3 seconds to go. One last chance. Shot saved by Vey, and that should do it. Velarde with a chance in front for the Canadians. No good, but they will go to the intermission over in Finland and Hungary. And then that's net knocked off again. 4:34 left to go in the second period. Canada and Italy. Canada in the lead 4-0 in this one. What do we have here? So far, Canada has shut the Italian relevant team out. For Canada and the youth men's teams, I remain somewhat concerned about goaltending. It's always tough to say because you have goaltenders that look really good and then eventually turn out to a whole lot of nothing. And Ravensburgen was a guy who has high praise, so that could be a future. You could see a guy like Carter George, who's been exceptionally good with the World Junior team. Jack Ivankovic has had a lot of opportunities over the last few years. He's actually with this men's World Championship team. It is interesting. I think there's a lot of young talent that the Canadians have that they can absolutely rely upon. The issue is how projectable are they? How good will they be in a few years? Because you're kind of trying to take bets as best you can, and it's always difficult to do so. Tavares takes the puck now. Over to Holloway. Holloway tries to throw on the brakes. Gets knocked over there. Holloway still keeps the puck. Fires it down to O'Reilly. Down to Tavares. Tavares walks in with it. Tavares looking for the backside. Jam play. Fidani with the catch. So we head to a power break. The intermission for Finland and Hungary still underway. 3-1 the score for the Finns. Over in Canada and Italy, Canada does lead 4-0 for now. We'll see if that ends up changing right around 4 minutes to go in this second period. We'll see whether or not the Canadian team is going to be able to hold on. A reminder that we will not be live for the afternoon games today. We will be back for our day recap video coming out later tonight. It will hopefully be released by right around 12 p.m. Eastern or 12 a.m. Eastern time. So stay tuned for that. It'll be early on in the morning for our European friends, or kind of when the European side wakes up. And so keep an eye out for that tomorrow or tonight, as that'll be coming out. Fidani would get along great with Lundqvist, the way he likes to pop his net. It is interesting to see how goaltending styles tend to come back as years go along. And you have different goaltenders playing very different styles. As Nick, the IIHF fan, writes, the shots for Finland and Hungary. Finland with 27, Hungary with 10 as of right now. Tavares wins the face-off draw for Canada. Works in, looks for the backdoor jam feed. Can't find it through. Holloway with it. Holloway tries to throw on the brakes. Holloway picks it up. Passes it down. Over to Riley. To O'Reilly. To Tavares. Tavares takes it. Tavares drops it down. Tavares down to Holloway. Holloway over to O'Reilly. Hands it off to Bouchard. Bouchard drops it back to Tavares. Tavares with it now in the neutral zone. Tavares over to DeMello. DeMello looks like he got caught along the bench area. Sonati for the Italians. Gets the puck and fires it down. The Italians will go for a change. So Whitecloud will collect behind the Canadian net. Passes it over to Nurse. And up comes Canada. Cousins with a nice move there, attacking with some pace. Feeds it across. Dump it down. Mercer. Oh, and Mercer gets thrown into the boards from behind. Good to see him pop up after that. Oh, and a nice play there. Nurse with a prime opportunity, but unable to find the back of the net there. It's Connor Brown now will wheel it around. Brown. To the point. Shot. Looking for the rebounds. Loose. Shot off the side of the net. Mercer now unable to find it to the back of the net. 4-on-2 now evolving for the Italians. The Canadians come back and play good defense, but chance coming in, unable to find it through. 3-on-2 coming back the other way for Canada. End to end we go. Brown. But we rolled offside. I sound like a robot. Cheers. As an Italian Czech citizen, this sucks. It is tough to see the Italians. It's always interesting with the Italian team because they've had some good runs, especially at the Olympics. They had a really good run. Unfortunately, you could even in their group, it was always going to be a tough group with them. But they are definitely a weaker team than the rest. So, I mean, we'll see. Your expected goals for this game, for those interested, 4.85 for Canada and 1.01 for the Italians. Oh, and the goaltender gets cleared out. Shot scores. That will be 100% goaltender interference. Oh, that's great. Yeah, shot from the point there. Talbot gets his feet cleared out underneath him. The Italians score. They're going to go to the bench anyway and celebrate it as if they scored. The referees will talk it over. Well, here's the age-old question. What is goaltender interference? Does anybody actually know? Because I think it's a made-up rule, personally. Here we go. No goal due to goaltender interference. As Bradley comes around, gets knocked in by Wotherspoon, but that should still be goaltender interference. Talbot got his feet kicked out from underneath him. But here's the question. So if Wotherspoon's going to engage contact here and Talbot goes down, does that mean that it is goaltender interference? It is a fair question. Can they challenge it? Not sure if they're allowed to challenge it. Oh, and they are going to review. I believe Italy is now challenging the play to see if it will be ruled a goal. In real time, it looked like goaltender interference, but if you're looking at it, Wotherspoon did push Bradley into Talbot. And so the principal point of contact, I guess, is the question mark of whether he did it himself or if it was because of his own defender. There's absolutely contact in the crease area between Bradley and Talbot. This should be still ruled goaltender interference, but we will see. In my book, it's interfering with the goalie's ability to make a save when they're inside his crease, other than screening, of course. I would agree, especially with the double IIHF, they're a lot more protective around the crease area. But since they didn't call a crease violation, then that becomes a question mark of, is it actually a penalty or not? Or not a penalty, but a goal or not. After review of the play, no goal, and Canada will head to the power play. It was worth the chances. The Italians are not happy about that one. That was what we like to call a desperation challenge. I mean, Wotherspoon he makes initial contact with Bradley, but Bradley still goes right through the crease, ends up taking out Talbot's skates. You can't do that. It's just not. You just can't do that. As Canada will head to another power play here late in the period. We'll see whether or not they are going to be able to find this last opportunity as we're under 2 minutes to play now in this period. Celebrini over to Scheifele. Scheifele up to Bouchard. Bouchard down to Scheifele. Kick it down behind the goal line. Bouchard with the bomb and will score. Evan Bouchard makes it 5-0 for Canada. 1:46 left to go on the power play. And for whoever was talking about how they haven't scored on the power play yet this tournament, there you go. 5-0 Canada in this one. Game starting to get a little bit out of hand. No goal by the Italian relevant team. Shutout remains. Go Canada, go. This must be brutal for Italian hockey fans to watch. It is interesting to see, like the Olympic Games, obviously, with the Italians doing as well as they did, brought in a lot of new fans, and we see it with this channel in particular because it's mainly international hockey. So you get a bunch of wide range of audiences, and we grew our Italian viewership by quite a bit as well. But it's always cool to see just how well the Italians can end up doing, especially at these tournaments where they're not necessarily expected. In this game, they're expected to lose as well, but it's this one's definitely a result that I wouldn't say is all that surprising. So Holloway works up now for Canada. Holloway moves up to Tavares. Oh, and a great move there. Shot and scores. That is number 6. Ryan O'Reilly with the goal for Canada. 1:21 now. This game is ugly. Very, very ugly. And getting out of hand quickly. Yeah, not a pretty game thus far. Let's see what the response will be from the Italians here. Feels like it's starting to get out of complete hand. Talk about the tumbling snowball effect. An ugly game. 6-0 the score for Canada over Italy to this point. 1:20 left to go in the second period. The Italians will look to see what they can do. They'll wheel it up. So we enter the final minute of play here in the second period. We will see whether or not the Italians can get a late goal here, or if Canada's about to put on another one. Should be interesting. I should have put Celebrini in my IIHF fantasy team. I forgot they were doing that. I should do that as well. Is it a day-to-day thing, or is it like you have to do it for the full tournament? Yeah, the Canadian power play has gotten significantly better from the last few IIHF tournaments, and I expect it to be a lot better, especially as it goes along. But Ryan O'Reilly with that last goal for Canada, a big one there to make it 6-0. Matejchuk ties up with Nurse. Over to Thomas. "30 seconds to go. Scheifele. Thomas. Nurse shot. Where's the puck? Not there. 20 seconds left to go now in the period. Covered up by Talbot with 12 to go. We will see whether or not the Italians score a late goal here. Shots are 27-11 in favor of Canada. And there's still an entire period of play left. That's the worst part. I have a feeling, though, that the Italians will get a goal at some point in this game. They'll open up a little bit. Canada's probably going to end up doing kind of that pass-around thing where they don't necessarily end up shooting the puck and trying to score for that extra goal. And so I wouldn't worry too much about the score getting... They could get to double digits, I guess, but unlikely to this point. When 4 goals away, probably not. Minton will flip it in, and that will do it for the second period of action between Canada and Italy. After 2 periods of play, Canada does lead by a score of 6-0 over Team Italy. It's been an ugly game thus far. It's going to keep getting uglier for this Italian team. But coming into this game, expectations were that they were likely going to end up getting blown out, and so not too much surprise there. Your other game, we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet, but Finland and Hungary. Finland is now leading by a score of 3-1 through 2 periods of play. As far as kind of what's happened in this game so far, a 0-0 game going into the first intermission. A period that I would say the Finns absolutely dominated in. But then they get a quick goal off the start of the period. They get a second goal shortly thereafter. And then Hungary ends up scoring a goal as well. You know, it's bad when the celly is done in silence out of respect. That's normally a pretty good sign. It does always remind me of that Fribourg goal song, where if you remember back to whenever the U.S. play, they always have Fribourg as their goal song. And so you get to hear that 10 times a game. It gets in your head after a while. But it is interesting. But back to Finland and Hungary, a game that for the Hungarians, they've actually played extremely well in, have been able to keep it very close. Most of the goals against are the Finns just absolutely dominating them in the offensive end. It's tough for a team like Hungary to kind of last out. We've seen them get more and more tired as this game goes along. And so this next period here is going to be really telling whether or not the Hungarians, especially in those first about 5 minutes of play, whether Hungary will be able to find their groove and end up kind of coming back in this game. It will be interesting. Because it is within range, right? It is within striking distance as both teams have now taken the ice here. We'll see whether or not Hungary is going to be able to pull off that huge upset and end up taking home a win. Adam Vey in net for the Hungarians. Jonas Korpisalo in net for the Finns. Korpisalo, 1 or 10 shots against, faced so far, 1 goal allowed. Should be interesting to see if there's going to be any more allowed into this period, but we are just about back for third period action between Hungary and Finland, as we will shift into our coverage for that game, as there is not too much to talk about in Canada and Italy. Canada has absolutely blown out the Italian team, but we will see. If you're new here, please do hit the like button and subscribe. We're going to put out a new poll, as obviously Canada and Italy game is just about done, and so I think we can have a pretty good sense of what that poll result will end up being. And so instead of Canada and Italy, we're going to ask, who do you think will end up winning the tournament? Ask who do you think is going to end up winning this tournament, whether it be Canada, whether it be the Switzerland, whether it be Finland, or whether it be somebody else. Let me know in that poll who you think is going to end up winning the gold medal at this year's tournament. Lots of good options there. Switzerland, Finland, and Canada, your leaders to this point as far as those power rankings would go. But the U.S., Sweden, Czechia, all very competent teams as well, who could very well end up in that gold medal spot. Pustola sends it over, looking for the backdoor feed to Lundell, unable to get it into the net. Vey's looking pretty good so far in this game. And also, if you are going to put someone else, let me know in the comments who you think will end up winning. Unfortunately, the YouTube polling system does not allow for more than 4 options, and so someone else is just a placeholder for that. So let me know who you think in the chat, who you think will end up taking home the gold. Lundell gets tied up behind the boards. And for those wondering, the final result of the poll between Canada and Italy, 150 votes completed, 89% thinks Canada will end up taking it, with 11% for the Italians. As there will be a penalty upcoming to Hungary, and Finland will head to the power play here. Prime opportunity for them to get on their fourth of the game and go up by 3 goals. Kiss will head to the box for Hungary. Oh, is it a double minor? Double minor for slashing and tripping by the looks of it. So will that be 5-on-3 or will it be 5-on-4 for 4 minutes? How are they going to rule it? Because I think they called 2 different penalties there. Yes, I believe it'll be 5-on-4 for 4 minutes, double minor. Assessed. Tough one to take. Mananen. Sent up to the point. Moves it over. Shot. Rebounds loose. Scores. Jesse Pulviarvi with the goal to make it 4-1 for Finland. And this one, slowly but surely, looking like it's about to get out of hand. Jesse Pulviarvi with the goal for the Finns. Rebound chance, he buries it. Barkov cycled it to the point. And from the point shot, from back to Barkov, and then Pulviarvi deposited the rebound. Fans of Italy's adult men's ice hockey team probably aren't feeling great after having not scored a goal just yet. I don't think scoring a goal is all that kind of telling for this team. I mean, they're always going to be more that defensive team. You'd like to get a goal against Canada, if nothing more than just to kind of generate some momentum going into that next game. But we will of course see. Finland's still on the power play here, as it was the double minor assessed, which means that they will stay on this power play for another 2 minutes of action. We'll see if they end up getting another goal here, trying to find their 5th goal of the game. That is ruled not icing or not offside. Looked to be offside. So set it up in the offensive zone. Unihaho with the puck. Waits for it. Oh, and a nice saucer pass there. But misses wide of the net. Lehtinen, Ramiaho, Ratu with the shot. Misses wide over the net as well. He might have hit the crossbar and went straight up out of play. Ratu, prime opportunity there for the Finns. Italy is having a rough go. First, they weren't allowed to play in the World Cup, and now this. That was pretty brutal too, especially on the soccer or football side for our European friends. Kind of crazy to think. Passes it up, Ainola. Ainola keeps it in for the Finns. Moves over to Mananen. Pulviarvi, another jam play chance. Unable to find that rebound. Lindell moves it to Barkov. Over to Pulviarvi, back up to the point to Heinola. Heinola cycles it over to Barkov. Barkov back to Heinola. Heinola walks in, shoots. Saved by Vey. Be tipped out of play. 16:10 left to go in the third period. Minimal seconds left to go on the power play. If you are new here, please do smash the like button and hit the subscribe if you have not already. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Heinola, Mananen, back to Pulviarvi, backs up to Heinola, who walks all the way in. Lindell, unable to deposit it with the jam feed. Heinola works down to Barkov. Barkov along the boards to Lindell. Over to Pulviarvi. to Lundell. Over to Barkov, who'll walk in. Barkov tries to feed it to the slot area to Lundell, but stick tied up. Puck will come out of the zone. 10 seconds left to go on the Finnish power play. Manninen works down to Lundell. Lundell out to the top. Or to Manninen. And that'll do it for the power play. For Finland, Hungary will kill off the second one after the Finns scored on the opening power play due to the double minor. The Finns work back in. Mirla up to the point to Mata. Mata shot. Looking for the tip in front. Oh, and taken out behind the play. Not be ruled a call. Puck will go the length of the ice for icing. Come all the way back down. Who's your team? You're excited for draft? I know I sure am. I'm a Bruins fan, so I'm not terribly happy with it, with that pick coming back. But obviously, it is what it is. I was hoping to have that 6th pick. That would have been pretty cool. Probably could have got a good player like Viggo Bjork, Albert Schmitz, one of those international players who we've seen so much of this year. Oliver Suvanto. All guys who very much could have been go-to guys for that team's future. The Finns are collected in their own end, currently leading by 3 goals, looking for that 4th goal. Mata over to Montepalo. Montepalo cycles it around the boards. Bjornen moves it up. Tries to slide it across, can't, and Hungary has a chance to work back up here. But good defensive stop there by the Finnish defender, and the Finns will collect it in their own end. But a turnover now. Back to being in Finland's possession. They'll dump it down deep and go and chase it. Hemnihaho with the puck over to Ratu. Ratu tied up. No call coming. Works over. Back 9 in. Tries to kick it. Loses it. Italy's expectations at a tournament like this won't be the same as Canada's or Finland's. They just won promotion from Division 1A, so they want to make sure they don't go back there. That's exactly right. Like, it's every team has a different goal coming into this tournament. For Italy, it's avoiding relegation, so their game against Slovenia will be oh so important. Obviously, you'd love to make the quarterfinals. That'd be pretty cool, but unlikely they end up doing so. A nice pass there. Shot. Saved by Korpisalo. So it goes over the net. Oh, and knocked over there in the corner was Lettinen knocked over the Hungarian forward. Hungary tries to get the puck, can't. And back comes out Erholtz for the Finns. Erholtz behind the net. Hands it off to Lettinen. Erholtz jammed right through the boards. Head right through the boards too. Oh, yikes. Yeah, we got super lucky. And the 2027 will probably go to Philly as the Leafs won't center pick. I think they actually have to. I'm pretty sure that they ended up looking that up. And or the Phillies were, or the Flyers were going to make a judgment, or they're going to ask the league to make a judgment. I'm pretty sure they ruled that. It has to be the 27 pick going to Philly. "12 minutes to go now in the 3rd period. Manninen tries to get to Puljujärvi, can't. Puck will come back out to neutralize. A bit of that kind of slog as of right now. Finns touch up for icing. 11:45 left to go in this 3rd period. Finland in the lead by a score of 4-1. Alexander Barkov No goals yet to this point for him at this tournament, but 3 assists. Playing a little bit more playmaker instead of finisher at this tournament. Heinola, shot, blocked out top. Collapses down the half wall, or the Finns. Finns with a lot of offensive zone pressure, as always. Kind of expected as for them coming into this tournament. Don't talk about them from Poland after seeing that we stay in Division 1A for another year. I want to cry. They were so close this year, too. When you think about kind of the way that the Poles have done over the last few years, it's only a matter of time, that in my eyes at least, that they end up kind of coming up to that top division. We'll see how long it ends up taking them, but the loss to Lithuania definitely hurt. Yeah. Poland had to win that game in regulation to promote. Lundell gives it away. 3-on-2 Amuro, and he loses the puck. Hungary had a 3-on-2 emerging. Unfortunately, lost the puck, and that will neutralize that opportunity for Hungary. But Montepalo now back for the Finns. Gets run into. But Finland will now work up ice. Dump it down deep. Pass it down. Montepalo with the puck. 10:17 left to go in the third period now. Mata with the puck for Finland. Gets tied up from behind. This Hungary will work in. Canada and Italy about to kick back up underway here. Cam Talbot and net for Canada. 12 shots against today for 0 goals. The 1 goal that did go in was ruled back due to goaltender interference. So we'll see if that has any impact on today's game. Probably won't, considering the score is 6-0, but hey, you never know. Maybe the Italians are poised for the comeback of the year, which will be absolutely hilarious and very fitting for this Canadian team this year. But we will see. Scheifele throws on the brakes. Works down low to Thomas. Scheifele works across, trying to find Velarde on the backside. Question for Canada, can they get to 10? Beautiful part about that is we don't have the graphics for 10, so we'll have to make it up as we go. Moves over to Mello. Shot to Fedani. Able to turn it away. Especially that Lithuania didn't seem like too much danger, but I guess they tried everything to stay in Division 1A. We thought it was going to be a walk in the park. That's very fair. It's always interesting to me how different teams come to play at different times and find their best game against certain teams. And I felt like Lithuania really did a good job of that against the Poles, but unfortunate. Just hoping Chayka doesn't Galaxy Brain it, or that Pelly doesn't ask AI who to pick, McKenna or Bust. Be really good when they take Bedard first overall. Or like Connor McDavid. Then you'll know it'll be some kind of AI. Cousins works in. Tries to get over to Crosby. Can't quite do it. Cousins. Over to Celebrini. Celebrini to Crosby. Bouchard. No good. Expected goals over in Finland and Hungary. 4.28 for the Finns. 0.68 for Hungary. As they're showing the save there from Fedani. Nice save. Vakanainen shot, hits off the post. So Riley now with Tavares. Stretch pass for Italy. Up into the offensive zone. Saracino works in. Bit of a blowout game so far in this one. 6-0 Canada over Italy. 17:45 left to go in this third period. Canada looking for 3 points in the standings today. Should be able to get there, as there's a penalty over in Hungary and Finland's game. A slashing call there. I believe Finland will head back to the power play in this game, by the looks of it. We'll see whether that's true or not, but for now, we will say that they are. Yes, 2-minute penalty for Hungary. Finland will head to the power play. The puck will come out. Matejchuk able to come back and collect. Brown now works in for Canada. Cross crease seam pass, tried to find on the backside, but can't. Jam play, no good. Minton there, the opportunity. Shot. Slashing call for Hungary, which will put Finland to the power play. Finland looking for their 5th goal of the game. See if they can get that here on this opportunity. Martone works in for Canada. Will dump it down deep. 16 minutes left to play in the third period between Canada and Italy. Mountain pass over to Barkov. Shot. Looking for the rebound. Lundell collects behind the net. Over to Barkov. Back to Lundell. Barkov shoots. Hoping for a tip from Puljujarvi in front of the net. Manninen over to Puljujarvi. Back to Manninen. Over to Heinola. Manninen now walks in. Shot. Misses wide of the net. Oh, kicks off the boards. Zamboni doors there. Lundell gives it off to Barkov. Barkov hands it off to Heinola. Heinola. Shot. Rebound. Lundell with the chance. Good save there by Vey, who will collect it and hold it on for a whistle. Shot. Finland still on the power play. Cross seam feed. Cannot connect. White Cloud back for Canada. Pick up the puck and he'll look upwards. Nurse with the puck. Fires it down deep. Fidani tries to get out and play it, but will miss it. Cousins now with the puck. Celebrini to Crosby. Back to Celebrini. Tries to backfeed it to Crosby. Rebound chance. Crosby with the puck. With his skates, Crosby tries to pass it along. Puck gets tipped and deflected out of play. A reminder that goal differential does matter for this tournament, especially when you get into the later rounds, because if you end up tying based on points with the team over in Group B, or Group A rather, you want to have a better goal differential, because then you'll win the tiebreaker. You'll get to play the easier seeds throughout the rest of the tournament. It doesn't matter as much, but still important. Heinle's shot misses over the net. Still important if you do want to go far in this tournament to end up winning these games by a decent margin. And so although you don't typically see teams run up the score that much, as it's not kind of the be-all, end-all, you do still need to outscore your opponents by a fair number of goals in these games, and you can't necessarily take your foot off the gas. Crosby works up to Celebrini. Down to DeMello. DeMello will walk in with the puck. DeMello fires it back along the back wall. Celebrini over to Crosby. Crosby to Celebrini. Celebrini looking for Cousins in front of the net. Can't find it through. 47 seconds left to go on the Finnish power play. Luttinen with the puck. Passes it over. Shot. Misses wide of the net. Hemmihaho with the puck now for Finland. Will end up losing it, and the puck will be sent all the way down the ice. 6:45 left to go in Finland and Hungary's third period. Tavares tries to throw it out front of the net. Isn't able to get it through. Ryan O'Reilly throws on the brakes. Matejchuk walks the line over to back to Matejchuk. Shot misses wide of the net. Passes down low. Over to Tavares. Tavares hands off to Holloway. Holloway back up to Tavares at the line. Matejchuk tries to walk in. Nurse now with a little bit of space. Shoots. No one knows where the puck is. Bounces loose. Rebound chance. Holloway trying to tuck it in, but Fedani up to the task, able to slide to the back of his post. Who scored so far in Canada versus Italy? Holloway, Minton, Celebrini twice, Bouchard, and O'Reilly. Holloway, Minton, Celebrini, Bouchard, O'Reilly. Yep. Probably will be 5-1 Finland, Hungary. I could very much see that. I'm interested to see what this final Canada score will be too, as Canada's on a power break, or Italy's now on a power break. The Finns offside called. 5:42 left to go over there. So we'll have likely might be in our final power break of that game between Hungary and Finland. A reminder to please, if you have not already, smash the like and subscribe button. Helps out this stream a ton, so please do it if you have not already. We currently have 66 people watching and only 27 likes, so let's make sure to try and smash that subscribe button and get that count up. Canada leading 6-0 with 12:53 left to go in this third period. Finland in the lead 4-1 as well. It's been a good game for the Canadians so far. Been able to generate a lot of chances. And really have got a lot of good looks. And their power play scored a goal, which is always important early on in the tournament to see that achieve some success. So we'll see whether or not they're going to be able to keep that going coming into here. Minton lines up in the draw for Canada. Measley for Italy. There's no look up. Measley dumps it down deep for the Italians. So we'll take a look over at Finland and Hungary here. Those two teams battling it out. Face-off drop prematurely, so they will collect it and wait with it. Shot from the point with Minton. Blocks it out front. Connor Brown now works along with it. Passes it up top. Mirla for the Finns with some offensive zone time now. I can only imagine the teams with the top 3 picks are watching Stenberg's performance with interest. This is a good way to gauge. It's a good way to gauge his talent. Sucks that McKenna isn't participating, but his camp said that he's focusing on getting mass and preparing for the transition to the NHL. It will be interesting to see because, I mean, part of it is that he's trying to wait for his opportunity there. So we'll see kind of what ends up happening on that account. Thomas works in for Canada. Able to find that. Finland and Hungary still 4-1 as they enter the final 5 minutes of play here. We will see whether or not either of these teams are going to end up finding their way through. The Finns very likely going to hold on to their win in this one. Canada very much likely to hold on to their lead, unless barring any crazy last-minute upsets. We'll see kind of what ends up happening there. Cousins walks in for the Canadians. Tries to feed it across. Crosby. It's breaking it up to Celebrini's shot. Good save there by Fidani. Frickland will move it up now. Here comes Italy's chance, but is not able to find it through. .10 left to go now in this period. Shots are 10-4 for Canada in this third period thus far, which I wouldn't say is a terrible shock. Puck will be played around. Shot turned away by Talbot. So a lot of men on the ice there for Canada. No call coming. Minton now will work in. A lot more players jumping over the ice for the Canadian team. Under 9 to play now for Canada and Italy. Right around that 3-minute mark for Finland and Hungary. Finland currently leading in the shot totals for this third period, 6-1 over Hungary. We'll see whether or not, with the goal already, if they will be able to hold on, if they're going to pot an extra one towards the end of this, but time will tell. Unlikely, I would say, especially given the lack of time left in this one. .30 left to go in this third period. We will check in on our poll, which we posted a little bit earlier. If you haven't already, be sure to go vote on that poll. Let us know who you think are going to be the winners of this tournament. Currently in the lead is Canada at 58%, 13% for Switzerland, 10% for Finland, and then 18% for someone else. The ways Canada might just be killing the clock here. Kind of feels that way a little bit, which I'm not really opposed to. I think that's not the worst idea in the world. But yeah. I mean, you obviously want to, and part of the trade-off is you don't want to embarrass teams, but you also don't exactly want to run up scores either. But you also need the goals, because if you don't get the goals, then you end up hurting yourself later on in the tournament. And so it's a bit of that trade-off where you might put together a few lines trying to score goals, the other lines trying to kill time. Just kind of depends on what the situation calls for. Crosby's shot blocked out front. As the Italians now will work back up ice. Oh, and a nice saucer pass there. Oh, nearly. Crosby goes down. Prime opportunity there for Italy there. The nice one-timer available. Unfortunately, couldn't quite get it onto the tape as it bounced off. Fires down the side. check for Canada. Ends up losing the puck. Perdeller takes it. Tied up by Celebrini. Moves it up to Cousins now for Canada as they work back in. And that's going to do it for Hungary and Finland. Finland does end up taking the win today by a score of 4-1, your final. A well-earned game from them. They pick up a big 3 points in the standings as they also hunt for the gold at this tournament and the top spot in their group. A well-earned victory today. They sat back on the lead a little bit towards the end of that game, which isn't surprising, especially for a team like Finland, who is so used to doing so. Oh, and a shot there. Oh, nearly. Saracino there with the opportunity to try and get it past Talbot. Unfortunately, Talbot up to the task. And we'll head to might be our final power break of the stream today. If you have not already, please do smash the like button and hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube. We are just, I don't know, we are away now, but we are 54 subscribers away from that. So if you have not already, please do smash that subscribe button. It does help the stream a ton. We'll be coming out with our day recap video coming later tonight. We had our day one recap video that's been posted talking about yesterday's games. So you can check that out. You can find that on the channel here as well. We'll have that for today's games. It's been a bit of a hectic day to start. I'd say the Austria-Great Britain game was a must-watch. We saw Austria jump out to an early lead. Great Britain rallied back with 2 goals of their own, 3-2 heading after the first period, and then Austria kind of took back control. And we saw a little bit more of that game that I'd say we were expecting coming into this one. The other game between Slovakia and Norway, Slovakia looked very poor in that game. It wasn't all that great, but it wasn't all that great for them. But we will see how they can fare for the rest of the tournament. Obviously, Slovakia team trying to earn that medal bid or at least play for a medal at this year's tournament. They have the team for it. It will definitely be a tough road for them to get there. However, you really do never know at this point. Should be interesting to watch. Martone fires it around the boards. Passes it off to Brown. Brown walks in with it. Brown passes up to the point. Martone's shot. Fidani with a nice save there through traffic. Under 6 to play now between Canada and Italy. Canada yet to score in this period. We'll see whether that doesn't look right. What happens there? Under 6 to play now for Canada and Italy. See what is happening. Norway will look good in the exhibition games, physical and fast. That's kind of their identity. They always have struggled a little bit with kind of finishing on their chances. And so if they can find that finish, they're without some of their top players as well, which will hurt at this tournament. But they're always kind of in that range. Brown works in for Canada. Stops down low. Over to Nurse. Shot. Rebound chance. Goes straight up in the air. Looking for the rebound is Canada. Can't quite find it. Brown with the puck. Works behind the net. Brown holds on to it, gets shoved off the puck. Martone now with the opportunity, shot, turned away. Martone with the puck, passes it over to Nurse. Nurse hands it off to Martone. White Cloud hands it off to Nurse. Nurse down low to Martone. Cycles it over. And up comes the Italian team. Petronero shot, turned away by Talbot. White Cloud with the puck. Will look up ice. Flip straight up in the air. Passes down. Tkachuk. 4:39 now left to go in the period. Scheifele with the puck. Shifley swings it over to Wotherspoon. Wotherspoon looking for the backdoor jam play. Wotherspoon holds, shoots, looking for the rebound now. Velarde with the chance. Velarde holds onto it, passes to Matejchuk with the chance. Misses wide over the net. Fidani with some good scramble saves there in tight. Thomas with the puck. Thomas moves it up to the point. Over to Matejchuk. Back. Matejchuk in, makes a move, tries to put it in but misses wide. Shifley with it now. Canada a little bit more gusto coming in over the last minute or so. Trying to get that one extra goal, make it a 7-0 lead. Thomas walks with it. Puck comes flipped out. Wotherspoon with it now. At the point, will walk the line. Wotherspoon throws on the brakes. Passes over to Mello. DeMello with a nice saucer pass over to Crosby. Crosby with it now. Collect the puck for Canada. Crosby drops it back for Celebrini. Celebrini with the puck. Throws on the brakes. Celebrini moves it over. Cousins shot. Good save there by Fidani. 3:07 now left to go in this third period as we head to our final power break, I would hope, of this game. A reminder to please hit the like button and subscribe if you have not already. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers here, and we are 54 away now from that milestone. We will be coming out tomorrow. We'll be live. We'll see what our time slots are going to be for that. Very likely we'll be live for Italy and Slovakia. We haven't done Slovakia yet so far this tournament, as well as Great Britain and the USA early in the morning, as well as Sweden and Denmark, Hungary and Austria. Potentially we'll go Latvia and Germany as well as the marquee matchup over there. We'll see kind of how we're doing at that stage, but very likely we'll be on for the first game of the day, or the first set of games of the day with Italy and Slovakia in the early morning. So keep an eye out. Today's game's been a pretty good start, especially in that morning game for Norway, where they nearly were able to pull off the upset win over the Slovaks. Still surprising, kind of just how well they ended up playing. I'm excited to see how the rest of this tournament will end up going for them, because they are definitely a team that could very well find their way through at this tournament, but it will definitely be something to keep an eye on for them. Where for Norway, an underrated team for sure. We'll see whether or not they are going to be able to pull off at least a few more upsets and find themselves in the conversation. The loss to Slovakia puts them in a bit of a tougher spot, but you think about where they're going to have to go from here. Now it's more of a battle to avoid relegation. We'll see whether or not they can get the job done there. 3:05 left to go in this third period. Cousins with the puck for Canada. Cycles behind the Italian net. Throw it back up to the point. Crosby with it. Dumps it off. Riley tries to find Celebrini in the slot. Does not work. The Italians now will break back up ice. 2:45 left to go in this third period. Puck goes skipping, and that will go the length of the ice for icing. 2:40 now left to go in the third. Final few minutes here for Canada as they close out this one. A dominant win today, and one that for this team haven't. Thank you for subscribing. We haven't really seen them find their best game. For the Italians, Canada really has just put it down, really throttled down on this one. Bouchard passes it over to Holloway, gives it off to O'Reilly. Canada content with running out this clock. Bouchard, passing play over to Wotherspoon. Wotherspoon back to Bouchard. Gives it back to Wotherspoon, who'll go for a skate. Wotherspoon throws on the brakes down low, over to Holloway. Holloway drops it off to Bouchard. Bouchard back to Holloway. Holloway works in, shot, misses wide. The Italians, puck comes out of play. It will tip off the glass, so there will not be a penalty there. Clock continuing to tick down here in this game. Canada still in the lead. And Holloway rattled it off the crossbar there over Fidani's shoulder. Tavares nearly had the opportunity on the backside, but unfortunately wasn't able to get his stick there. But Holloway came so close to scoring the 7th goal for this Canadian team. 2:08 left to go in the third period. Final minutes closing out for this Canadian team today after a dominant performance over the Italians. Brown cycles it down low to Minton. Minton with the puck. Tries to get it over. Can't. And a real well-played effort so far from the Canadians today. A game that they'll absolutely be happy walking away from. Able to really take this third period off in many ways. Not necessarily in the fact that they haven't played well in the third, but they just haven't really needed to score, and they haven't really taken those high-quality chances that they could have had. But most of it's just making sure that you get your goaltender his performance bonus of today, which I'm not going to say what that is because there is exactly just under a minute left in this one, and I don't want to be the reason why that number changes on this scoreboard. 1 minute to play in the third period between Canada and Italy. Canada with a 6-0 lead in this game. A dominant performance, one that they're going to look to try and build on as they continue through the rest of this tournament. For Italy, although it is a loss today, an expected one, they weren't really expected to end up contending with a team like Canada, especially with the strength of them. A very well played game from the Canadians today made it very difficult for Italy to get much going. That will be a high sticking. Italy will go to the power play with 30 seconds left, where they will try and score their first goal of the game. We will see whether or not that will be the case. Can Italy score a goal against Canada? Time will tell. Here we go. 30 seconds-ish on the clock. High-sticking call coming up. Let's see if our Italian friends can find it. Robert Thomas with the high-sticking penalty. Likely you're only going to get one chance, maybe two here to get an opportunity. Puck popped up. Thomas tried to hit it out of the air. Instead, hit the guy's face. Can't do that. That will be a penalty. And Canada will fire it down the length of the ice. Vidani out to play it. Here we go. Last rush for the Italians. Can they score in today's game? 15 seconds left. They'll push it back, and that probably will do it. Missing the puck, and shot. 4 seconds left to go in this third period. Talbot turns away that last opportunity. It will go out of play. In response to a poll on which team will win the 2026 IIHF Adult Men's World Top Division Tourney, it's hard to know, although the Canadian team looked versus its Italian counterpart much better than versus, I think that's going to say Sweden. Go Canada, go Canada. Hopefully Canada can end up winning, taking it to home here. Gord mentions Italy shootout win in 2019 to avoid relegation versus Austria. That was the last of what had to be three of the unluckiest relegations I'd ever seen Austria suffer in only 11 years, for sure. And that's going to do it. This game is now final. Team Canada will take home the win over Italy, 6-0, your final today. A reminder, we'll be coming out with our day recap video later tonight. We will be live tomorrow as well for at least one of the games. We'll make sure to communicate that in our day recap video, so stay tuned there. It's Swedish counterparts. So far, the Canadian team has outscored opponents at preliminary round play 11-3. Up next for the Canadian team, Danish counterpart on Monday morning. We will be live, I believe, for that game at 10:20 a.m. Eastern Time. That will be 4:20 p.m. Central European and 5:20 p.m. Eastern European Time, so stay tuned. I will be covering that game, and we're hoping to go for both games, both sets of games on May 18th, the Monday. So stay tuned. Lots of content coming out. Stay tuned for our day recap video coming out later tonight. If you have not already, be sure to go check out as well our day one recap, which is already posted on our channel. Big thank you to everyone for tuning out today. A bit of a stinker as far as the games selected with Hungary and Finland, although it was close through that first period. The Finns end up walking away with a dominant 4-1 win. The other game, Canada, who beat Italy 6-0 and was another very dominant win for the Canadian team. We'll have more content. We'll have more lives coming out tomorrow, so make sure to hit the notification bell so you are notified when we do go live here on the channel. As well, stay tuned for our recap video coming out later tonight. But with that, if you made it this far in the live stream, thank you for watching. If you'd like to drop a like, if you really like, consider subscribing. Tell all your friends that Canada might just be bound for the gold medal game. Until next time, see ya.